you should have your 3/4 view and your frontal view image on the desktop of the Windows app via Launchpad. So that's where I am right now. And then if you see Photoshop on here, you can click on these to open up, but you might need to do a search and type in Photoshop. And it's going to open it up. Sorry, I'm eating my lunch at the same time. And then from here, go File, Open. And hey, along the way, sometimes things might pop up and ask you something. If there's an option for do this on the computer, just choose that. Lucy, that happened with her yesterday where she was doing it on her Chromebook. So just read what it says, but it might be asking you, do you want to do this in the cloud or do this on your computer? Choose computer, it's going to put it onto this Windows app desktop. So what I've done here, I'm going to the desktop and I've saved my images. They should be in here. And I called them Kamala. So I'm going to take the 3/4. We'll do the frontal one to start. Okay. And what you want to do is we're going to be using Photoshop to kind of sketch and examine things. So right off the bat, when you get set up here, you can, I obviously am dragging the window to make it as big as I want. If you, on my keyboard, Command plus makes the image bigger, Command minus makes it smaller. So that's a keyboard shortcut, which is really kind of nice. Okay, so I'm just dealing with the face right here, so I'm going to like zoom in on it so you guys can see. You want to have your tools window open and your layers window. So go to Windows. You don't need to have the color open. As long as you have your tools, you'll have access to the color there. You do want to have layers, so make sure that's checked. You don't need to have these other ones. And you do want to have the options open and tools, okay? The options are for the options connected to the tools, okay? So make sure those are open. And you should be able to see your tools. Sometimes this bar might be kind of out of the way or something like that. Sorry, I'm rambling. So this is really simple, the setup for today. This is what I want you to accomplish. You're going to go to Layer up at the top here, go to New, and choose New Layer. Okay? And some of you might be using the new Photoshop version. It's the same thing. Okay? So go look for New Layer, and you might want to, I'm going to ask you to call this Background Color. Okay? And just click OK, and you'll see I just made this new layer here. And then go ahead and make a second layer, New Layer, and call this your Digital Drawing. Okay? And these are your visible eyes that make the layer. So you can see that when I turn this off, I don't see it, but when I turn it back on, I can see the image. So in this here, your background layer, you can just pick a color, right? Sorry, take the paint bucket tool. Okay, so it's either, you might see the gradient tool like this or the paint bucket tool. So click on the little tab there, get the paint bucket. You can pick whatever color you want. So if you click on the color swatches at the bottom of your tools, and you can go in here and pick any sort of color you want. So say I want to get this blue for whatever reason. And I'm just going to dump it. Okay, and I just want you to prep that up. You can change this color later if you want, but so that, just so you can see, this is blocking your image, and then there it is here, okay? And then go to your drawing layer, and this is where you can draw in black if you want, so I just check this to black again. You can draw in a color, but why don't you start with black, just, but you could, you know, pick a different color if you want. And I want you to choose the paintbrush tool. Okay, so make sure you have the paintbrush tool. It might look like pencil tool or color replacement tool or something similar. So if you don't see it there, if you're in the newer version, there's more options. But choose your paintbrush tool. And in your options up here, what you want to do is set the brush size to very small. So if I go like this, you'll see it's a big brush size. If I turn it down, it's very tiny. So set this to like, 5 or something, 5 pixels. And then the hardness is either a crisp edge or a soft edge. Right now, it doesn't matter too much, okay? And what this is going to allow you to do is, when you're in this layer here, I can see how I'm just drawing lines on top of this. Cool? And if I go like this, and I block the photograph, I can just see what I did for my drawing. Cool? So I'm going to just show you one other thing. I'm going to undo brush tool. Cool? So that I just went edit, undo. You can Control Z undoes the last thing. And what I'm going to be able to do here, I'm going to do that like zoom in a little bit. We're going to be looking for the shapes. So one of the first things that I say is, hey, your every mouth is a stretched M shape. So you can kind of see, and this is, she's smiling, so it's really stretched. And she has a relatively skinny upper lip, right? So I'm just sort of sketching in the shape, okay? And I'm just, maybe I make my, and you can see that this isn't a perfect 3/4. I know it looks like a mustache here. But notice how this side, which is closest to us, we see it go all the way to like the point. And on this side here, it really, the point gets chopped off. We don't actually see it, right? And it kind of dips down a little bit here, but that's that like stretched M shape. Cool? And if you want to just see what it looks like as a drawing, right, there it is as a drawing. If I go step back, right? Oh, undo brush tool. Oh, step back, right? I'm back at the middle. This M shape that I'm looking for, here's the peak of the M, here's the lowest part, right? Here's the other peak, right? And can you see it goes up? I'm drawing with my mouse, which is kind of hard. Down, right? Up, and then it goes down. And see, that kind of gets chopped off because it's almost perfectly frontal, right? And that's kind of that M shape. You see it like stretched as an M. Cool? We're going to be able to see this is the cylinder of her lower lip, right? So she has pretty skinny lips, I would say. Cool. And then these little side cone pieces. And again, can you see this isn't quite frontal, right? So like a little of this is truncated, chopped off, right? And you can kind of see how that looks as like a drawing. Cool. All right. So just gets set up, and then we're going to be able to use this to kind of notice how the stretched M, the videos that are about look at this like little stretched M shape of her nose, right? Here it dips down, right? And it goes out this way. This is sort of, that's like the little M shape of her nose here, right? And these are like her little nostrils. We'll watch that. You can kind of see how this, I know this doesn't look like a drawing yet, but it will come together. Okay, so maybe I'm talking for too much. But, and you turn it off and you'll just have it there. But that's the setup. So at least you don't have to start drawing, just get your drawing layer made and your background layer made. And then what you need to do is do File, Save As, okay? And you want to save it onto the desktop, and you can call this your, frontal digital drawing, right? And if you want to say who it is, I can say like Kamala. Good, and save it as a Photoshop file so we can keep working on it in another class. This is fine, maximize capability will come up. Then you can close this up, okay? And you'll see I have my piece here, the frontal, whoops, I'm opening up the wrong one, frontal drawing there. And you want to go ahead and do the same thing for your 3/4 view, okay? Sorry, no, look, this will be good. This is opening it up now in the newer version. You'll see it. I'm going to stop the video right now instead of making you wait for this, okay?